as always, Mr. James Acaster.
Hello, Josh.
You right?
Well, yeah, I was alright.
Until what?
Until I turned up this morning, and it turns out you've got someone else in telling their scrapes. Now, what does the word loyalty mean anything to you, you snivelling little worm? I mean, coming on this show, opening my heart up to the nation, exposing myself to embarrassment week after week, sharing my scrapes. They call me the Scrape Master, Josh. That isn't a title one just like plucks out of thin air. You have to earn that. Someone once tweeted at me saying that the sign to Kettering should say Home of the Scrape Master underneath it, right? Does Tom Craine live in Kettering? No. He comes from Bath.
I just think if you've got a good scrape, you know, if a man's got a good scrape, you should
bring it in, mate.
Yeah, well, get your own show, Craine. Go and be someone else's. Turn up on the last hour of someone else's show and have your own little. Be classic japes with Tom Craine, telling about the time he clearly deliberately bought a windbreak just so he could get on the radio and try and steal someone's thunder. Steal bread out of my own mouth. Out of my own mouth.
Not a good time to bring up Crane's other scrapes at Glastonbury.
Yeah, well, I heard you had
that was just the beginning, James.
Yeah.
So you come in with your one scrape if you're lucky.
Mate.
I've got like a smorgasbord. I've got a buffet of scrapes, mate.
Yeah, well, some of us don't organise a weekend away with Josh and then deliberately scrape it up around him just to try and get on the radio.
Right, Craine, let's go to your other two scrapes.
Okay.
I'll just fill in one of the scrapes was that my friend Holly, who is James's flatmate at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're living in her house.
Just living in a house, man.
Her and John met me at the Rolling Stones and said, "Oh, we've just seen Tom Craine. He was being strangled by his own lanyard."
I did. It got caught by the wind and I couldn't breathe. It twisted round, and a pair of Dutch tourists had gone off to try and find scissors for me to release me. In that interim, Holly Walsh, a comedian, they had to free me. I genuinely couldn't breathe. It was trapping my Adam's apple. And what was weird is, as they were
reeks of desperation.
As they were cutting me free, James, they were saying, "This is far funnier than anything James has ever offered." I said, "That's not important. Let me breathe." But they said, "No, I must make this point. Scrape-wise, this is amazing."
Right, tell us your final scrape, Craine.
My final scrape was, after the Rolling Stones at 1 a.m, I decided I needed some food, so I bought a hamburger and chips for 10 quid, because it's all going very well career-wise, it's not a problem. And I was walking back down to my campsite, and about 30 seconds I realised, away from my tent, or windbreak, I realised I didn't have any knife and fork. So I stopped at a baked potato van and asked if I could have a knife and fork, and he said, "Have you bought anything?" And I went, "No." He goes, "Well, you're going to have to do something for me. You're going to have to do 10 press-ups to learn the knife and fork." At which point I said the bleakest sentence ever, which was, "Please don't make me do this." I then did 10 press-ups while people stood around and chanted and clapped. I only made 8. I couldn't finish the press-ups. And he kept going, "No, keep going. I ended up grabbing a knife and fork and going, "No, I think that's quite enough of that," and then running into my that's quite enough of that. But yeah, people gathered around and chanted as I tried to do enough press-ups to get a wooden knife and fork.
Well,
that is bleak.
There we go. I think what we've done there is Craine has got rid of all his scrapes, and we can now move on.
I bet he's got more up his sleeve. Try and ambush me later on.
I'm writing them now. Most of them aren't true.
I've had loads of scrapes happen to me this week, mate. Loads.
Josh Widdicombe podcast. XFM.
Bastille, Laura Palmer. Laura Palmer's the song. I mean, that Laura Palmer sounds more like the artist, and Bastille should be the song. But I'm right, aren't I?
Yes, you're right. It was after the lead female in Twin Peaks.
Oh.
Well. Trivia, everyone.
Trivia!
He's done it. I bet you're recording this. We're going to play it to someone else later on. I did it. I told him it. There you go.
I mean this, Neil. That's possibly the most boring fact I've ever heard. But that's really takes some doing. That's
right.
Well done.
Right. So, still here, producer Neil.
Morning.
Tom Craine.
Hello.
And James Acaster.
Yeah.
Now, James, you're worried Craine is taking your scrapes.
I'm not worried, mate.
We've got a text from Dom in Watford.
Here we go.
That starts, "If you're taking other scrapes."
Oh, hello. Welcome to the party, Dom.
Also, we've just got another one. We'll come back to Dom, but it is a point. It is a point that I've just received. So Tom comes from Bath, but needs a knife and fork to eat a burger and chips. WTF?
Yeah, I know, but I don't like... Basically, if at a festival, You've seen the toilets and all sort of stuff. It's filthy. So I get weird about that sort of eating food with my hands at festivals.
That's
so
WTF stands for Why the Fork?
Why the fork? And the answer
Why the
is
fork, Craine? You don't need that.
So I don't get dysentery. That's the answer.
All right, Dom in Watford. I mean, this is one of my favourite. That again was from Helen, who said touche, souche. She's having a great morning.
Wow. It's pretty much her show, isn't it now?
An absolute screamer, Helen. Keep it up.
Right. If you're taking... I mean, this is... You know when a text leaves more questions than it answers? If you're taking other scrapes, I have one involving wearing a dead man's T-shirt and getting moisturiser rubbed into my chest by a 60-year-old woman.
Right.
That's it.
That's where it ends. Well, we've all got one of those, Dom. So, Dom, if you think you're special with that...
That's one thing that happens on a stag do in Amsterdam, isn't it?
I mean, Dom, if you want to text in with more details of that, although...
Wearing a dead man's T-shirt and having moisturiser, what was it?
Rubbed into my chest by a 60-year-old woman. Yeah, it's not the other way round.
We should
not
have
wearing a 60-year-old T-shirt and getting moisturised into my chest by a dead man.
We should have bets on what the story is. I think he was pretending to be her husband. who was passed away, and he dressed up in his clothes just to get some sweet action from the lady.
I'm sold on that. I'll go with that.
Yeah, we're going to go with that. I'm very excited to hear what it is. Oh, Dom's tweeted in again.
Hello, Dom.
It's not as sordid as it sounds reading that back.
Okay. Mate, I don't see how you're going to clear this up.
Dom, we're going to need more tweets on that. This is live radio at its best. Just what are you doing? Just filling until Dom tweets us again?
No doubt at some point Helen will come in with a singer, so it'll be okay.
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
This is Josh Widdicombe and producer Neil. Have we got any news on Dom?
Dom.
Have you put your bed music back on, Neil?
Yeah.
Neil's bed music.
This is his new music for us to talk over. What do you think of it?
That's lovely. Very nice.
It's on a shopping channel.
Stop trying to fill. We're still waiting for Dom, and he's not. Dom has let the story go cold. He's not delivered.
Music. I was enjoying that music.
Dom is like the texter in a equivalent of Lost.
No, he hasn't texted in. So that is it. But Dom, you've missed your chance. Wait a minute.
Imagine if the rest of the show was just you refreshing Twitter.
Come on, Dom.
No, it's an advert. No.
I wonder what's
Dom
happened
is playing
to Dom
me like
in the
a cheap
meantime.
violin, isn't it?
Well, I bet he was about to. He literally got a knock on the door and answered it, and it's like one of his friends needs his help. He's like, I can't. I've got to send a text. Dom, come on, Stuart's trapped underneath a car. Just come.
Get the T-shirt.
For God's sake, man.
What we need, Dom, is a T-shirt and some moisturiser to set him free.
I actually think that Dom has stuck together 3 random words and now can't back it up with a story. He's thought,
crying.
How maverick and weird can I go? This will get me on air. Oh no, this has gone through. This is going to be in his living room. Oh, Dom, when will you learn? I've done it again.
Well, sorry, Dom. You've sadly, I'm going to press refresh one more time. It's there.
Is it actually there? Dominic.
Is it really? Oh, this is great radio.
Dom,
hello the Sonys.
Right.
Take a breath,
Now,
everyone.
Everyone take a breath, because I haven't read this, so I might have to cut it off at any point. Right. To cut a long story short, don't do that, Dom.
You did that first time, Dom. Look where that got us.
Well, it's Twitter, isn't it?
I was working in an old people's home laundry and got covered in detergent that burns and bleaches the skin.
Fun times.
I was corralled into one of the residents' showers by the aforementioned woman and found myself in the odd position of getting naked in front of some old woman's room. Once I got...
This music really suits this story, by the way.
Like a weird after-dinner speaker.
Once I got out, my worktop was soaked and I was handed a T-shirt. Upon asking where it came from, it's got a bit jazzy now. Yeah. I got the reply, let's just say he doesn't need it anymore. I went back to the laundry to finish work and complain that I had minor burns on my chest. Before I could move, this predator of a woman had her hands on my top and was rubbing moisturiser into my chest. One of the strangest days at work ever.
The music makes it sound like, I imagine when Frank Sinatra would tell stories between songs.
Yeah. And this one.
And there, they moisturise my chest to stop the burning. When the moon hits your eyes like...
Josh Widdicombe, XFM.
We now come to your moment in the sun, James. The week of your classic scrape.
Classic scrapes. A lot of pressure on this one this week.
Yeah, there
We've already
is.
had
Yeah,
scrapes
yeah.
from Craine. Dom
yeah.
stuck his oar in earlier. Few small ones actually to begin with, just to let you know that I'll have you know, right? In case you're doubting that I'm the real scrape master. This week I dropped some milk on the floor. I was walking up a hill back from the post office where I was visiting my parents. They said, go and get us some milk. I said, all right. I went down, bought some milk. On the way back home, I dropped it, smashed everywhere. So, you know, don't go thinking I'm not the scrape master. Also, I was trying to... me and my friends wanted to find out what would happen if you texted yourself on your phone.
Yeah.
So...
How much time have you got on your hands?
Yeah, well, quite a long time. So I tried to... I actually don't know if I can say this word. Can I say this? Neil, can I say that top one and there? Say that.
Second one.
The second one down on the Is that allowed?
We're all in it.
Here we go. Drum roll, please.
I don't know if that's allowed.
Not really.
Not allowed.
Come on, look, James.
Huh?
Have a look.
It was a rude word. It's a rude little thing. It's a rude little.
It's an action more than a word.
Yeah. So I thought I'll text that. The second
Text
word,
a rude
the
phrase.
second word is fun, and the first word rhymes with fun. And I thought I would text that to myself.
Yeah.
And you can't just choose your own number out of the list because it's not there. So I had to type my own number in.
Yeah.
Text myself, and I wasn't getting the text through. And I looked again and realised I'd typed one of the numbers wrong. And just
amazing.
just texted that to a stranger.
Did he reply?
No, I didn't get a reply. If I put a question mark at the end, maybe I would have got a reply. No. Well. But
You got your own number wrong.
yeah. Well, I just clearly like quite clumsy with the old.
Yeah, the old
Inputs.
fingers.
Anyway.
The old digits.
The main scrape this week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go in the archives. And
Yeah,
'cause
bring out a big gun.
Now Crane's telling the story about windbreak and I take it that was a rough night's sleep, Craine.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I'd do a similar story.
Okay.
I think that's what I've got to do. Now, cast your mind back to the winter of 2008.
Yeah.
I'm an open mic comedian, right? I'm earning my
Yeah, I know,
chops.
but what were you doing then?
Dealt
walked
with.
into that one as
The old skills kick back in.
if Helen is in the room.
Yeah.
I've got myself a gig in Basingstoke, Mirth Control. Thank you very much, Jeff Whiting. Right, I'm the open spot on the bill. Now there was someone supposed to be driving me back to London.
Yeah.
The opening act on the bill, supposed to be driving me back to London. I get there, he does his set, I do my set, and then he goes, I've changed my mind. I don't want to go back to London anymore. I was like, what?
Why didn't he want to go back to London?
Well, this is what I said. This is believe it or not, Josh, that was my immediate question. Why now? Why are you telling me this? He said, I've got a girl that I'm kind of seeing. She lives near here. I'm going to go around to her house. I was like, right. Okay, so
Can I come?
Yeah. Has she got a spare sofa bed? Mate, I'm an open micer. I can't afford a hotel. This is awful. Ran to the train station. Missed the train. All the trains had stopped. Went back to the venue. Tried to convince him. He wasn't having any of it. Went to the bar staff. Said, can I stay at the pub? They said no. But there is a train leaving from Basingstoke. Oh, this gig was in Andover, by the way. Yeah. I said, there's a train leaving from Basingstoke at midnight. You can get that one if the guy drives you as far as that. So he drives me over there. Also, all the way there in the car, he's moaning at me that he had a bad gig and I had a good one. Now,
Okay.
I don't know bang about
This
it.
story doesn't seem believable now.
Yeah. he kept saying to me, I don't know what was wrong with that crowd. I mean, they weren't laughing at my sex stuff, but you told a joke about bubbles and they were laughing at that.
The guy from Big Brother.
Yeah. Michael Jackson's monkey, mate. Michael Jackson monkey jokes. They're not done enough nowadays.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
He drops me off. He speeds off.
Okay.
He doesn't come back. By the way, I've also been in Andover since 1 o'clock because I had to get the cheap trains back then. Right, I've been kicking around all day. During the day, I was working on a short film at the time, so I had to do shopping for some wardrobe. And I went to a shop, bought a red dress to fill the day in.
Yeah.
And then...
what was the film? Schindler's List?
With Christopher Bergen.
It went really well. It ended up being like a massive film, won loads of Oscars, but I didn't get any credit. I also sat on a bench to pass the time by the town hall, and a massive strong guy came and sat down and took up so much of the bench that his elbows acted like like on a roller coaster where the thing comes down and locks you in. It's like that, I couldn't move.
I think they're going to kill time by sitting on a bench. That's not an option. You go to a cinema, you read a book. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit on a bench.
I spent all my money on a dress, mate. I couldn't afford...
You're not Forrest Gump.
I had no money. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have started up a box of chocolates chat with that guy. He wouldn't have wanted to hear any of my stories about Bubba and Lieutenant Dan.
Okay, so you're sat on that bench, then what happens?
He sat down, he kept me... I was trapped for ages. At one point, someone came on and started chatting to him. He was being really rude to everyone as well. He was shouting people over. And the lady chatting to him got a phone call and went, yeah, I know, I'm just talking to Dan and one of his loser mates, which was me. I wasn't even... Anyway.
Yeah.
Basingstoke train station. The guy drops me off, he speeds off. I run to the train station. They're locking it up. There's no midnight train. I was lied to.
Yeah.
There's no last train out of town.
There's no last train out of Basingstoke. Forget it. I say, right, can I sleep at the station now? No. Look at my mobile phone. It's dead. I look at my wallet. No money.
Oh.
I'm now in a bind. Right, I've got to do something. I'm walking around trying to think. I'll notice in front of the train station quite a large and warm-looking bush.
Warm-looking bush?
It looked like it was insulated quite well. Right, there was a nice little nook. I thought, right, it's 6 hours to the next train. I know that much. They told me that. I was going to crawl in there, fall asleep. 6 hours goes pretty quickly when you're asleep. Right, I'll do that.
In a bush?
In a bush.
Why did you go back to the bench?
Mate, the bench was all the way back in Andover.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Dan's probably still sitting on there. I don't want to be messing with him again. Crawl into the bush. By the way, it's been a really hot day. So I've got like a t-shirt and jeans on. I'm freezing. Sitting in the bush, and I can't sleep. Obviously. I'm terrified. It's a Friday night in Basingstoke. Like, there's people, just drunk. I can hear drunk people from miles.
Are you not tempted to like go out till 3 a.m. like find a club or something?
Josh, how well do you know me? I'm not going to go. Excellent opportunity for me to do a bit of Basingstoke raving.
He's going to sit in a bush.
Sit in a bush for a bit, mate. It's more
so you sat in the bush?
Than the Ray Mears of the comedy world. Sat in the bush. It's freezing. So eventually, to warm myself, I put the only item of clothing on that I had. Oh! Not ashamed of it. I put the dress on, right? Red dress, put it on. Really big shoulder pads on the dress, which I hadn't realised when I bought it. And I realised it. Also double gutted, I realised this is not going to go very well for the film. It's not the style that we want. I'm there in the red dress. I've also got on me a Dave Eggers book, and I'm reading that. And I'm eating some brioche that I bought earlier that day. But those decadent tramp in all the Basingstoke, sitting there eating the brioche, reading Dave Eggers and wearing a red dress.
Did it have long sleeves?
Had long sleeves. It came down to just above my ankles, which would be very risky back in the Victorian times. I think we all know that. Quite a racy dress.
Like a salsa dancer having a breakdown.
Yeah. I'm really kind of like... And obviously checking my watch to see how close I was to the next train. The scariest point of the night, I sat there and two really drunk men were walking along the road, and they stopped right in front of my bush. Well, it was my bush by that point. And one of them started going, "Joe, what we haven't done for a while."
Oh no.
He went, "No." I didn't know people had this kind of conversation, by the way. He went, "We haven't beat someone up in ages." Literally that's straightforward. I'm sitting there going, if you look down now, it's going to be like Christmas. If you look down now and go, there's a guy in a dress sitting in a bush eating brioche.
Yeah. You have a weird Christmas.
Yeah.
That's like Christmas, but yeah.
That's what Christmas is like for me. Is it not for you? Guy in a dress eating brioche comes in. That's old Nick, right? That's what everyone else was taught. So I had to hide. So what I did was I got the plastic bag that the dress came in and put it over my head, so that I would look like just a plastic bag in a bush next to an old discarded dress. And I stayed very, very quiet until they eventually went away. And then,
Had you died from hypothermia during the night and you'd been found like that, what sort of backstory would they? What they'd assume awful things had happened to you, like some kind of like, almost like when a politician is found, or
bag over my head, wearing a dress, brioche in my hand.
yeah.
Just to sum up, did you just stay up all night and then get the first train home?
Yeah. I would like to point out when I got on the train, I took the dress off.
Yeah,
But not wear that all the way back to London, and the bag. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Well done. You win, I think.
There's a scrape. And that goes to Indy44, who I noticed tweeted, family, friends and neighbours all gathered around the wireless in anticipation, ... waiting for the true master of scrapes, James Acaster.
Josh Widdicombe.
XFM.
Frank Turner, The Way I Tend to Be, and that is it on XFM. Just one more thing to do. That's not it for XFM, that's it for this show on XFM. And that is, as a thank you, James and Tom, if you'd like to plug. Who'd like to go first? Do you want to go first, James?
Sure.
That's an old hand. And Neil, because he said he had enjoyed the show.
Watching Cranes, yeah.
Neil, you said, because it's been such a lovely show, you're not going to give him a time limit.
No.
With him, recently.
Neil's just going to sing the countdown music himself.
Why don't you do your Edinburgh show?
Yeah, brilliant. Here we go, people. It's a sneak preview.
Right, ready?
Yep.
Right,
Very short. It probably wasn't even there. I'm on tour in the autumn. JamesAcaster.com for tickets. And I'm also doing the Edinburgh Festival in August. I think you can get tickets for that online. I haven't got a link on my website for that. I should have done that. Just thought of that now.
Watch and learn, I remember you saying.
But you know, just put in James Acaster Edinburgh Festival. You'll probably find some ticket links there. Yeah, you know.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's enough.
Also, you've got a red dress for sale, haven't you?
Also, if anyone would like a red dress and wants advice on a great place to stay in Basingstoke,